What's up, everybody, and welcome to a very special announcement at Theory Underground. I'm your host, David McKerracher, and today we're joined by a couple of guests / co-hosts, I guess, for this announcement. Bryce Nance and Jason Myles in the house. Welcome, you two.
What up, what up?
Hi, Nance. So basically, this is a quick little announcement about something that's coming up on Tuesday, the 18th of July. We're going to have a sort of mini conference event that is on the theme of the video and article that I put out within the last week, basically on hardcore theory, on music scenes as an analogy for what's going on in the theory scene. But like with all analogies, they're only instructive up to a certain point. And the real question is where does the analogy start to break down? Where does it not really carry over? And so this is kind of a question about art and where it gets into like the intellect and where it gets into theory. But then we also could talk about radical change and the potential that we all kind of felt like is there with hardcore or with the history of rap. And so there will be two panels. One will be on hardcore theory. The other will be on rap theory. Jason, what are you wanting to, do you want to be on both? Do you want to be kind of between?
I would love to be on both since I have an actual history in both genres. So that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so for those who...
I'm very opinionated about both as well.
That's what we need is some opinions, for strong opinions with some actual experience behind them. So for those who don't know, Jason Myles is part of This Is Revolution podcast. Really big deal with some of the people that are involved with Theory Underground, including Nance. But I've loved everything I've ever seen them put out. I don't think that I would have known who Norman Finkelstein was without them. I've obviously seen a lot of the stuff they do with Dr. Adolph Ray Jr. and Torrey Reed. But you guys do a lot of really important stuff, and I'm always kind of like, your podcast is one of the ones that I'm always like, fuck, I need to binge your guys' stuff. And but you got this background, man, and so I'm kind of wondering if you want to share just a little bit about your background with hardcore and rap, and kind of maybe some of the big questions you'll be thinking about in reference to selling out leading up to this event.
I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. I was born in Oakland, California, grew up in Richmond, California. And as a young teenager, I was in a rap group, and kind of like maybe the pinnacle of what we did was we recorded a single with these guys that hadn't yet dropped their first album yet, called the Black Eyed Peas. And then we didn't really go anywhere with that, but I always loved heavy metal and punk music. So I eventually started doing more of that and toured all over for years and released, I don't even know how many records, doing crazy, weird, heavy music. And then I lived for a long time while doing all that stuff in a warehouse rehearsal recording studio in West Oakland, where kind of a lot of the bigger bands of various genres were. So I got to be a sponge there and literally just ask a lot of questions, kind of like I do on the show, and just have these little mini interviews all the time. And a lot of questions I had was kind of around the idea of what is selling out. What does it really look like when you're actually talking to the individuals? How much of the way we look at these individuals, they're our own projection of who we think these people are. Mm-hmm. One of the people I got to know relatively well there was Boots Riley. And kind of an encyclopedia of music, not just hip hop, but just all kinds of music. And always had some great insights, always said things that made you think. Even when like thinking about marketing music, he would always tell us, maybe your cover shouldn't look like this because this really deters from what we're about. But so, I would love to talk about the idea of what is selling out, between both of those genres. And does hip hop have revolutionary capabilities?
Yeah, man. And I have thought more about selling out than maybe any other idea related to hardcore, because I actually have a tattoo that's kind of based on the idea of like, I'll kill myself if I ever have to sell out. And it's like, it's a tattoo that really, I got it because I felt like my favorite band in the world is sold out, and I felt embarrassed. And and I already had a tattoo by them. And so I kind of had to turn that tattoo into something else. And then my ideas about like what selling out is got more and more sophisticated over time, because I was like, well, I've been overly simplistic and hard and quick to judge. And I'm not thinking about like what the system, the music industry as a system is actually doing to people just trying to get by, support their families, whatever. And then just because a band changes its sound doesn't mean it's sold out. It just means maybe they don't want to be hostage to an overly critical audience that doesn't want them to express themselves through multi-genre sort of means.
Isn't that selling out when I'm not doing what I want to do musically? I don't know. But one of the bands I got to know really well was Faith No More. And I love Faith No More because I felt like they've always done what they wanted to do musically. And bands like Fishbone as well. You know, you're going to hear 8 different genres of music on one song. So people that you can't paint into a box,
yep,
you know, that just do whatever it is that they're feeling at that moment. I really, really dig that. And I think we're kind of missing that in oversimplification of genres, where if you do technical hardcore, that's all you do is technical hardcore, which right now what we're seeing, and I'll try to be as brief as possible, the problem with that is you can plug all this stuff into AI. And when you listen to like the gent music that AI spits out, it literally sounds like contemporary bands because so many people sound alike.
Yep.
So I don't think you can throw a band like Faith No More into an AI algorithm and just get a quote unquote Faith No More song, because it's just, those guys go through so many evolutions. I mean, who comes out after a 20-some year hiatus to Reunited, the R&B ballad in front of like 70,000 people? People want to hear the hits, and you're sitting here doing a ballad. So, you know, again, what is selling out, and what is staying true to oneself? And when we even think about things in terms of selling out, are we a victim of the culture of authenticity and the culture of deconstruction? I think both those things definitely to just negate everything. So you're just kind of part of this whole culture of no, which I think exists big time in heavy music.
Fuck yeah. Nance, you want to give a quick little intro for the people who might not be familiar with what you bring to the table in terms of this background and everything like that?
Yeah, I was a true believer. I was a dirty gutter punk growing up as a kid, and then I had kids when I was a kid, and then it forced me to grow up or whatever. But there's still a large part of me that is still a true believer in punk rock and in I guess the power of art. But I don't really know what that power is even supposed to do. I don't think anybody really knows what it's supposed to do. I think most people recognize that there is a power there. And it's very compelling. It's very alluring. But it's also easy to get carried away in the consumer demographics and the boutique categories, and lose sight of that. And I like the idea of applying a critical eye to the things that I love and that people I love. I'm interested to see what that can show us about ourselves and our world and our situatedness in the world. And yeah, the idea of reclaiming art from algorithms is exciting. Like soon it's going to be the case that people making art believe in it once again, rather than just being able to slap shit together in Ableton or whatever and push it out and hit post. People are going to have to fight for the art that they love. And while that can be seen as exclusive, currently people aren't even making art. So I'm excited to get back to a point where people can express themselves rather than chasing the algorithm.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And that's where you and I both are going to have a lot here in the next couple of weeks leading up to this, thinking through the lens of critical media theory. What does it actually mean to understand the main tendencies of the attention economy and ways of harnessing those tendencies, but also strategically countering those tendencies in order to keep your soul, keep your art, keep your ability to express yourself without getting swallowed, because we're none of us are Luddites here at Theory Underground. Like, the goal is to experiment with these things, and so we'll be thinking a lot about that as we go into it. I think it's going to be a fucking awesome experience. And so everybody else, if you want to be there, it's not going to be live streamed, but if you want to be there for the event, you want to get involved, if you want to submit something that you might want to present, so you can actually be on one of the panels, or if you just want to be in the live audience, then get back to me. My email, contact information is down below, all of that. And then, so I hope to see you all there. Do either of you want to say something in close? Anything else that this might have provoked that you're thinking about? Or
I'm definitely ready to have these deep dive conversations. I've been working on some stuff about the 90s, 1994 particularly, the death of Kurt Cobain, the rise of Green Day, and the fall of the Soviet Union, and kind of how all those things worked in tandem to create the mundane, maybe more mall music that you get from the 2000s. How banking deregulation was involved in that as well. So it'll be a fun time.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool, guys. All right. Well, that's the advertisement. Peace.
Thank you.